Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to call this Beeville County Commissioners Court meeting to order. This is a special called meeting. Today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. The time is 9:04 a.m. We're physically located at Beeville County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi St, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please stand and join Father Andrew Green in a brief prayer?
Almighty God, who has given to us all the blessings we enjoy, we pray that we may always show ourselves a people who are mindful of the gifts and glad to do your will. Bless our county and our country with honorable industry, sound learning, and loving community. Grant wisdom and discernment during this meeting to deliberate on the issues before us. Grant to our judge and our commissioners hearts of justice, peace, and liberty. May they always seek to uphold the trust placed in them by the people they serve. We give you thanks for the rain that we have received already this month and pray, if it be your will, to send us more. And we pray to keep us ever mindful of the needs of our neighbors and friends. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father Green. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas Pledge. Honor
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We're at agenda item number 4, recognition of visitors. We do have some visitors in the audience today. This is not public comment. Public comment is going to come up in 2 more agenda items. This is where we say hello. Thank you for being here this morning. If you don't want to make a public comment, but you do want the record to reflect that you were present here this morning, this is your opportunity. Is there anybody who would like to identify themselves for the record? Okay, thank you all for being here. Please feel free to come back anytime you want. Thank you, Rolly. I appreciate it. We're in all the time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on. Agenda item number 5, Commissioner's Court opening remarks. Commissioner Olivares, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me start out with just some general information. I had an opportunity to attend the New Exit Basin Summit, which was primarily around flood mitigation. Great 3 days that were there, lots of learning. It's amazing some of the new tools that are becoming available to us for forecasting some of these floods. Those of you who have not caught up to AI yet, it's something you might want to take a look into because it is amazing what's available through AI, artificial intelligence. It's pretty awesome. We also learned about some grant funding that's available to us and some key learnings about flood mitigation. So really, really good session. And that a lot of people are going to have some benefit to us down the road. On the EOC, Judge, I want to echo what you brought up last week, how we must trust our county officials to ensure that they're doing things according to our Constitution. The same applies to our contractors, that we want to trust their ability, that if you sign a contract, that they're going to do the right thing on our behalf. Unfortunately, there's another component to that, it's the verification, to ensure that they're following our drawings and specifications. So where I'm heading with this is that we had some light flickering in the EOC that's been going on for several months, a lot of finger pointing. Finally, we've got the issue resolved. There's no more flickering of the lights.
Just a few tightening of screws,
Just
right?
a few tightening of screws. It's amazing what that would do. But anyhow, it's done. It's completed. So that's a good news there. As far as the generator on the jail, we mentioned at the last Commissioner's Court meeting, the part did come in. However, that wasn't the fix-all. So we're still having issues with the generator. I've reached out to Ryan to see if maybe we can meet. Reached out to Commissioner as well too for just looking at a contract for the generator maintenance, see what we can do to get all the parties together and try to get it fixed. But the issue just continues on. It doesn't go away. And a lot of it has to do, for those that you may not be aware, is that the generator that we purchased has a lot of proprietary components to it, and just not anyone can go work on it, otherwise there's a warranty issue that could be impacted. So we want to get the right players involved. And I think to date we've spent quite a bit of money, Madam Auditor, on that rental, which I'm sure you're right on top of it. But it's something that's needed. So hopefully we can get that resolved pretty quickly. Received a call from Mr. Mike Willow this morning to, number one, express the thanks from Keaton to the Commissioners Court to allow the county to host generating these ID cards. The first day we had a record-breaking number of 71 people, for a total of 124 people in that cards. The internet was working great, Craig, so thank you. Make sure you're aware of that. So there will be more sessions to get an ID later on. So in Skidmore, I've been receiving many calls, more than one, with concerns in several areas. One of them is the road's not being repaired, so that could entail a little bit more discussion, but I won't go into that. But we're going to look into it. I'm going to meet with the road and bridge to see what we can do to help mitigate some of these areas. Mosquitoes is another one. I think everyone's probably dealing with that. And then lighting, safety lighting in various locations throughout Skidmore, Poplar, and Tynant, which I did have a discussion with Madam Auditor to determine if we have the funding. We can present that to the court for their approval and some additional funding we might need to move on. So, not a whole lot of money, but still it is money that will be spent. Also at the JP Ford's office, unfortunately, our floors are starting to buckle again. So we definitely have a humidity problem, and it's like the buckling even more than they were the first time. So I do have some contractors looking at it. We feel that it's more of a moisture, humidity. So we may need to insulate the bottom of the floor. However, we do have some other work that I'd like to get accomplished before we do that. So still don't have the prices yet. Waiting on the pricing back from some of our contractors. It's pretty sad that our floors are buckling that way. It's a beautiful wood floor, but we'll continue to going that. Maybe a new building like the judge suggested a while back.
That sounds fast.
But yeah, and it's unfortunate, you're right, Commissioner, but sometimes the cost of renovation get pretty costly compared to but the new cost of new buildings aren't cheap either, so something to weigh out. In Beeville, in the area of Old St. Mary's, they're been having some calls about mosquito issues, so I'm going to give a road and bridge, see if we can spray in that area there. Also in Beeville, which I'm going to be working with the city, in the area of Olympic Street and Yosemite, they were doing some repairs on a water line leak. And they left a bunch of dirt on the highway, so the residents would like to see it come here with the sweep and just put it up. So I will be getting with the city to help with it. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to the right.
All right. Busy 2 weeks. I'm going to start off with I got a call in from the constituent on Jeff Smith Road. The stop sign was leaned over because of a storm. It ends up, I talked to Jonathan. Didn't get leaned over. It was about to be stolen. They got interrupted because one of the bolts was already cut off. So they continue to attempt to take our sign. So if you see something, please be vigilant and call it in. Had several leaks up there at the district attorney's office and on the roof of the Justice Building. And then we got Mr. T. Boyce to go out there and check. We've identified, oh my God, 15, 20 little spots that. I guess that membrane is the original membrane that's up there, so it's worn, and everywhere underneath it, there's a little wire or something that's worn through, and then push on it, so they patched all that. Hopefully this will be a pass, but we're gonna have to look at that in the future.
To get 2026
The flooring on the district clerk, we got to replace, so if you get that, we'll take a look at it. Thank you to the district judges for helping out with that. They contributed to that. Also, on June, while we were closed on Thursday, Komatsu came out here with their lift and they did the courthouse inspection. John, thank you for taking your day off and just spending the whole day here with these guys. They were up here, they were way up there. I wouldn't get up that fast, but they had that lift around the courthouse, so they did a good
I thought
job.
the same thing. I saw that gentleman up here, and he was moving his little wand, and the bucket was kind of shimmying back and forth, and I thought that's not a job I want anymore.
It wasn't.
Maybe when I was younger.
It was a lady.
Oh, it was a lady. My
Yeah.
apologies for being misogynistic then.
No, she's braver than I wouldn't get up there. I saw her moving it around, and I thought, oh my God, she's up way up there. I mean, she was on the third floor.
Yeah,
She
it
was driving it around with the little wand up there. I said, oh, no, that was she's very brave. That's all I got to say. So they got that taken care of on Thursday. John, thank you for being on day off. Appreciate that. I did get, I'm going to add to Commissioner Olivares. Vicente Benuelos called me from the Sheriff's Office generator. And I just told him, hey guy, I mean, we gotta get something done. I mean, the charges just keep piling up on this rental. And he said, because there are 3 different contractors involved in that, they can't cross lines. If somebody touches something that belongs to somebody else there, they'll void the warranty on it. So I said, you gotta get them there all at the same time, as long as you configure. And then when they turned it on, they couldn't turn it off. And that for like 4 or 5 hours straight. So it works. So, Randy, you have a generator. Sure, I'm sorry. My apologies. And then a big shout out to all the maintenance crew for taking everything out of the district clerk's office. They worked hard to take everything out so the flooring could be installed. I know they came up here to check on them. They were all, they worked hard to get everything out of Ms. Snyder's office. And then they put it back after they were doing the carpet. So they did a good job there. Other than that, let me see, we had one camera go out at the tax office. I was trying to get them to patch it, fix it, replace it, put a seal in it. And they said, no, they're only good, they're only warranted for 1 year. And we have to buy another one. So there's another camera we've got to add to the list. And with that, I'm going to pass the Commissioner DeWitt.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks for that. Don't have a whole lot this morning. Had a call about wanting a dead end sign in Pettis. And the lady that called said that the Amazon trucks are going down and the garbage trucks are going down. There's no place to turn around. I said, ma'am, they have to be able to go down. She said, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, we can put up the dead end sign. I said, but they're still going to have to make their deliveries. And she didn't realize at first that I think she wanted us to stop all traffic on the road at first. I said, man, we have to get in and pick up the trash. Once we got the sign up, she called me back and said, I'm so glad you got it up. We had a lot of people driving down there and there was not a turnaround. There wasn't a cul-de-sac at the end. They were having to pull up into people's driveways and back up. She said it's already working, so that's a good thing. So I think what I'm trying to say, when you call a commissioner and you say, can you do so-and-so, think about it all the way through before you jump up and down and say, we really have to have this because it could impact Amazon deliveries, fast pickups, or whatever. So think it through. We're going to try to do what's right and do what we can to help. Also in Pettis, the road and bridge is doing their best to try to get the paving done up there. Fortunately, or you might say unfortunately, it's been raining and they haven't been able to put it down like they want to, but they're going to get back on it as soon as it dries up a little bit. Update on the Mineral Bus Stop. We received the check from the insurance company. They've been a pleasure to deal with. The company that did the initial damage has been a pleasure to deal with. I think that the auditor's office is going to be going out for quotes real soon to get that thing back up. We hope to have it up probably in the next 90 days if everything's fixed. It's something I'd like to discuss with everybody about. If you raise cattle in Bee County and you haven't taken any cattle to the sale lately, if you take cattle to the sale, you're going to be amazed at the price. This auction here in Beeville, this last Friday, I had to put some calves in. I'll give you a personal testimonial. Light calves, I work them light because I'm working by myself and I can't handle big calves. They're going to average maybe 250, 260 pounds a calf. The top calf cost $4.70 a pound. Now think about that. When you go to buy beef, if they're paying $4.70 a pound on the hoof, you've got bone, hide, and stuff that's part of that weight that's going to be discarded. So the price of beef is going to be going up. The low calf is $4.25. We have a lot of cattle sold. My cattle are nothing special. They're just cattle. Talking this morning with different people about why the price is so high. What I've noticed in my area, my ranch is out west of Texas near the children's home. All the ranches around me that used to have cattle no longer have cattle. One still has a few old cows on it, I think, for the ag designation. But as the ranchers have gotten older, they don't fool with them anymore, or they passed away. Their kids have gotten hold of the land. They're selling it off. There's a lot of cattle that aren't out there anymore. Plus, from what I understand, because of what's going on south of the border in Mexico and beyond with the screwworm, there's restrictions on cattle being brought in from the Mexico area. So if you have cattle, right now is a good time. I remember growing up working cattle in the 60s and 70s with my dad, getting 30 and 40 cents a pound, and we felt like we were doing real good if we got $300 for a calf. When they got to $1 a pound, my mother didn't want to sell anymore because they were worth too much money. And now $4.70. It's hard to believe. Those of you that have ever sold a calf, it's amazing. When you go to get the check and you look at it, you say, did y'all make a mistake? Because it's good. So right now, I'm not sure now's a good time to get in the cattle business, because if you're paying $4.70 for a calf that's just about this big, what are you going to pay for a cow or a bull? $5,000, $6,000, $7,000? I don't know. But life is good right now if you have a few calves to take in. Judge, that's honestly about all I have right now. I have quite a bit once we get into the agenda.
Can't wait. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
both of our commissioners and other commissioners as well. As many of you all are aware, retired fire department, Beeville Fire Department Chief Donnie Morris passed away over the weekend. I'd like to take a moment of silence just to reflect on Mr. Morris. Start now. Thank you. Chief Morris was a great man here in Beeville County, longtime owner of Morris Radiator Services, longtime volunteer fireman. Until his retirement, he was the fire chief here in Beeville for as long as I was here. My wife and family and I moved back. I couldn't ask for a nicer guy. Couldn't ask for a more genial guy. Great family. And hell of a red fisherman. And I know his family and his friends and the fire department and all volunteer firefighters throughout the county are mourning his loss, and our thoughts are with you. We'll move on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Is there any members of the public who would like to address the court? Yes, sir, Mr. Ramirez. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge Morrill and members of the court. I'm not sure if I'm out of order, if I was supposed to make the introduction.
You're perfect. No, you're perfect. Just identify yourself for our record.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Ronnie Ramirez. Legal name is Ronald Ramirez. If you're looking for me. So I'm used to making introductions at Rotary, but I feel really honored coming before the court this morning with an introduction. So the rural medicine program at Texas A&M began in 2019 to bring innovative health care to rural populations and to address the provider shortage in rural Texas. Let us not forget that W County is the first partner with the Texas A&M School of Medicine on the Rural Health Initiative that exposes medical students to practicing health care in rural areas and show them opportunities for development. As of March 2025, over 52 Texas A&M medical students have participated in rotations at 25 rural locations statewide. So Beeville is a pilot, and Beeville was Bee County was very successful. So was a model for the rest of the state. And the other locations always call on Beeville when they're getting started, because Beeville has done Bee County's done such a good job in starting up this program, right? So today I would like to introduce Mr. Metter, who is with the Rural Medical Initiative. So he's going to say a few things about it and how he got here.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Metter.
Honored to be talking. Honored to be speaking to. I'm Andrew Metter. I'm a rising MS2 at Texas A&M College of Medicine. Sort of how I got started into healthcare was through my mother, who was a nurse practitioner at a small clinic in Rosenberg, and then moved up to, she was a nurse practitioner at Anderson now. And I'm from Missouri City, Sugarland area. My family's from Beeville, Texas, though. Yeah. And why I got started in rural medicine was one of my main medical sort of journey things. That's something I want to accomplish through medicine, is have an impact on people and make connections with people. And I feel like rural medicine is one of the best ways that I can do that based on what I've seen so far. And why I chose to come to Beeville was I just heard so much from other people. You know, had Portland a couple years ago, and he told me, and Cassidy, who's in charge of the rural distinction, also told me only good things. And happy to be here. Looking forward to my 2 weeks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Metter. Thank you for making the effort to come and introduce yourself to us this morning. We wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors, not only your brief stint here in Beeville, but the rest of your medical school and everything else. And hopefully, ultimately, you find that this is the type of practice that you want to pursue, and you do pursue it, and hopefully you come back to Beeville.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a public announcement? Yes, ma'am.
Long mornings. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank several people for their support in our recent hosting the Secretary of State's office to do training here. Wally was generous enough to donate several items to us for their afternoon snack bags, and we really appreciate that. John Izagari and his team did a wonderful job of helping us get set up, and we appreciate all their work, and we know that they do it without it many things so many times, but I can't tell you how much that department helps my department. And of course, I would like to certainly thank you, Judge John, for your generous donations. So I'll pass that down to him. And unfortunately, Commissioner Liddy's not here with us this morning, but I also got to thank you for him. Without those donations, I don't know that I would have been as successful. We had great many comments from everyone about what a great time they had here in Beeville. I'm glad to report we had heads and beds from that meeting, so it was nice to have that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. Excellent. Anybody else? I know there's... Yes, ma'am.
Is this a time to talk about requesting like a waiver or help with the Coliseum for rodeo?
Well,
Or would that be a little later?
are you with TDCJ?
No, I'm with, we are a rodeo company. I've been talking to Commissioner Laney on it, and he told me to come here this morning.
Yeah, no. Is Wally still here? What's your name?
Quest Lawyer.
Miss Lilia, I'd like you could just step outside real quick and speak with Wally. Yeah, and then we'll figure out, we'll get you on the agenda. Thank you for being here this morning. Is there anybody else who'd like to address Commissioner's Court? Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioner's Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8. I'm going to skip agenda item number 8 until I get Wally back. Agenda item number 9. Approve proclamation to proclaim June as Elder Abuse Awareness Month.
motion to approve that, Judge.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
So many jokes.
Are there gifts involved?
There's discounts. If you make a
Discount.
motion.
Judge, we're with Adult Protective Services for that
Oh,
proclamation.
thank you. Please come down and make this more meaningful.
Absolutely.
I'm Marissa Back. I'm a subject matter expert with Adult Protective Services. This is Galen Olawade. She's the investigator that covers this great area of D County and surrounding areas. I cover from RGB, Coastal Bend to Laredo. Adult Protective Services, for those of you that don't know, we're a state agency. We investigate abuse, neglect, and exploitation of elderly or disabled adults. We also provide services to alleviate that type of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. We are statewide, so anywhere you go, you will find us. We take, our calls come from anybody, doctors, judges, passerbys. They just call a 1-800 number and tell them where the person lives. They send it to the county, and then an investigator gets assigned, and they will go and visit the person that you're concerned about. Our numbers are, I wish I had an accurate number for y'all, but it's severely underreported. For every 1 report we get for abuse and neglect, 22 go unreported, and for exploitation, it's 1 in 44. So the numbers will never be accurate. Commissioner mentioned AI earlier. AI is the future, and it is also the future for criminals. So scam artists are using AI to target the elderly and the disabled. They're using it to be Tyler Perry. They're using it to be Morgan. We continue our education with AI. We're learning to combat the criminals that use AI with using crime-stopping techniques with AI. So, like he mentioned, if you don't know about it, learn about it because you will come across it in the future. That's kind of the gist. Anything you'd like to say?
I just appreciate all the help that I get every time I come out to ask for help from anybody that has an issue with a complaint. So I thank you guys, everybody that makes a report, that we go out and investigate. I can depend on everybody to step up to help me when I need that help. Considering I'm the only one out here. Thank you.
Because we're a lone ranger out here. So we do community education, so stuff like this. To educate the community, we do stuff with law enforcement, we do trainings for financial institutions, DA's office, anybody who will listen to me talk, I will talk to them. So if y'all have anybody that y'all are aware of that would like to hear something about APS and they need continuing education credits, I can work on the paperwork and they'll get something additional out of what they're going to learn out of it. So thank y'all for having us today.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for making those comments. And I'll just make a personal comment. In my private practice, I've seen instances of financial elder abuse and worse throughout the time that I've been here in B County. Most of the time it goes unanswered. Most of the time the damage is done, and there's nothing really to recover, to save, to undo. I've seen instances where the individual that family is concerned about press on despite reality being expressed to them for whatever purpose. So thank y'all for being here. I know it can be a little difficult sometimes in your job. It's difficult whenever anybody steps into an environment that is full of passion and family and love and support, distrust, discord, conflict, everything else. So thank you. I know it's not an easy position to have. Appreciate y'all being here this morning.
Do you mind if y'all get just I know that y'all haven't signed it because Commissioner Libby isn't here.
Oh, we signed it.
If we get a picture of him,
Absolutely.
that'd be great.
I'd love to.
That way we can just be dismissed.
Do you just want a picture of you?
Okay. Don't mind taking a picture? Oh, yes, you are. You are what that is.
So just get that high angle so you know.
Oh, I'm definitely not.
I was going to say that.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Not easy, appreciate it. Thank you, David. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll give you one by this is for
That's good.
She's got it.
So, Wally, we'll move on to the, oh, wait, sorry. Did we vote? I don't think we voted on it. We did vote on it, didn't we? Motion and second, but we didn't vote. Okay, good. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you all.
Agenda item number 10, approve Dynamark proposal to update and replace camera system DVRs for the Expo Justice Center, Justice of the Peace Precinct 4 buildings, tabled during the June 9, 2025 regular term meeting. We have both Deputy Pointer and we have Mr. Oliver here this morning. Before we jump into this, because hopefully we'll have a meaningful discussion, I do want to clarify how grateful we are to Andy, because he's been running point on our security camera installation and improvement process for several years, and it's definitely outside the core scope of your employment. I'd like to appreciate or give my appreciation to Sheriff Aguirre as well for allowing you to continue to serve in that respect. And I'd like to thank Mr. Oliver as well for coming in after you and looking at it at my request, and fortunately or unfortunately, as the case may be, identifying some maybe longer term concerns and considerations and potentially solutions as we try to move towards compliance. So the big issue that we have with our video systems is a compliance issue. It's not something that we're obligated at this time necessarily to comply with, but it's something that we probably will be obligated to comply with in the future. So I'm going to hand out to each of the commissioners a set of 3 quotes. The Dynamark quotes are on top. You'll see one deals with the Justice Center, one with JP4, and one with the Expo. And then underneath those are third-party quote, just sourced from a different vendor. And then underneath 2 of those, that's for you, are quotes from the network people for similar solution, and also a more expanded long-term solution. The long and short of it for the public is, technology is great. We love technology. It's grand, but it tends to reach end of life, which is a phrase I don't like. I hear it a lot in the technology world pretty quickly, and so once you kind of get into it, there's obligations to continue to update it so that it continues to work as designed. So we have the nuts and bolts of what we're looking at today are the replacement of 3 DVRs or NVRs. Each of them are video recorders, so they're pieces of technology that take the images coming off of our cameras and store them. And these 3 are requiring replacement, and so that's how it started with Deputy Pointer getting replacement bids from Dynamark, who has serviced or who has acted as the vendor for our security system for several years, and then everything else after that has flowed from there. Deputy Pointer, do you have anything to add? I really don't want to put you on the spot. I just want to thank you.
Are you looking at Night Vision or the Watchdog?
I think these are Watchdog.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, these are Watchdog.
Those are
the new ones.
completely different operating system than the other.
Right, which requires a separate.
Which the company has a separate program.
Okay. So, we have a simple solution, solves our short-term issues. We have a more broader view. Mr. Oliver, do you want to run through it, or do you want me to? And then you can correct me when I make a mistake.
I'll let you take the lead, sir.
Okay, so let me get back to my notes. I believe right now all the existing DVRs are working, right?
No,
Oh, they're not.
the
Okay.
auditor's office is completely out.
That's the Justice Center one.
The expo, the last time I tried to go look at something, it wouldn't allow me. So I don't know if the hard drive is becoming corrupt.
Okay.
Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't.
Okay.
JP4 is working fine as far as I know.
Oh, hallelujah.
There's just no storage on it is the main reason for
Too
the
small.
replacement. They have about 8 days of storage, which I don't feel is very much.
But also JP4 is also classified as one of those non-compliant systems as well.
Yes, well, they're all of them Activision.
That's true. The difference between JP4 and the other systems, the DVRs, let me clarify one thing. DVRs are digital systems which are the only thing that is intelligently connected to the world or anything is the recording system itself. The cameras are strictly analog. There's no intelligence there. It's just like an old camera, and you're just feeding to the DVR. The NVRs and other aspects, which is what is at JP4, is an IP system, not only the recording system, but the cameras are IP intelligent as well, meaning that not only does the NVR have to be compliant with NDAA standards, which is what we're looking at moving forward, but the cameras also moving forward have to be compliant as well. So that they are an extension as well. They can operate independently, or they can operate with the recording system. Most of the time it's with the recording system for large amounts of storage. So those are the differences between those when you see DVR and NVR.
If you would, question, we keep using the word compliant. Go a little more detailed. Compliance, what does that mean?
Well, since you guys created the IT department, we re-engineered basically the network into a seamless, one organized network. And recently we have also segmented each department to be able to manage all under one network, but segment them into their own offices for CJIS compliance. CJIS being the criminal justice system for like murder cases, child cases, and things like Judge Morrow can be more specific on that.
All criminal cases.
Yes.
All matters.
NDAA compliant is a national defense compliance measure. You'll see that the federal and state levels, along with jail systems. The compliance is FIPS 140-2 and -3. -3 being the new standard, but they still have not phased out 140-2 yet. So those are the three compliance measures that we look at when dealing with a government entity. And like Judge Morrill said earlier, at this time, we are not mandated because of the amount of constituents we have. We do not meet the state mandate level. So, but it is looking to be pushed by the governor sometime in the near future that he is just going to mandate all counties, regardless, just for security purposes.
The other issue that and Mr. Oliver and I were speaking last week is this whole IP camera versus what's the other kind of camera?
It's just analog.
Okay, analog camera. So I presume, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, that IP cameras are more technologically advanced. That's where we're headed, as opposed to analog cameras.
The IP camera's intelligence, where things are moving forward, is going to be facial recognition, person recognition, license plate recognition, things of that nature that extends to the intelligence of the camera and optics itself. We're starting to see mobile systems being put into our SO's vehicles and state troopers and other major police departments in major cities, where they're driving and they have cameras on the side and the front of their systems that they can just drive to a parking lot, and another lady was talking about AI. This is where AI is starting to increase, because it can scan license plates, facial recognition for people that are under warrant status or other types of
reasons that they may be wanting.
Very interesting.
So,
in our EOC building currently, which is the newest building we've installed cameras on, those are IP cameras, right?
yes, sir.
And the big issue, the only reason I wanted to make sure that we took some time today for commissioners to discuss it is you can, if you have an IP camera, well, NVR is what you use with an IP camera ideally, not a DVR, right? Can you use an IP camera for a DVR?
You can, but what has to happen is there is a media converter involved to make that happen. And usually by the time that you purchase all the media converters for the cameras, it's just as simple to upgrade the DVR to an NVR if you already have IP cameras established.
But there's no problem with an NVR. Can an NVR receive data from an analog camera?
Same process. There is an analog to digital media converter as well that you can convert the analog signal to IP. And that way you can phase these things in without having to absorb the major costs up front. So, but it's just a matter of designing and moving forward.
And so that's kind of, when we were talking about this last week, that's kind of where I started thinking, well, do we want to get the tech that we are going to be moving away from, or do we want to go ahead and start rolling out the tech that we're going to be using in the future as cameras go down or as we need additional cameras? There's an additional component which is already a necessity, which is our bailiffs have access to these cameras, and up until bringing EOC online, right, you could watch them all on one computer screen or TV screen, but now you need a completely different setup to watch the EOCs as well, right?
Well, I don't have access to EOC yet.
Okay, well, you will.
Yeah, at some point. And like these, I haven't figured it out because I'm happy with it. But I can run more than one program.
Right.
And I actually have 3 monitors. I have 2 70-inch TVs and a computer monitor.
So I'm getting bogged down in the details here. The long and short of it is, we use an entity or a company called Network People. You'll see on the back of a couple of your quotes where he's provided quotes as much apple to apple, and in between the two are just price quotes that Mr. Oliver had found, as well for apple to apple comparisons of the Dynamart quotes. The question that I have, the bottom line question that I have, because you'll see on a couple of these quotes, they're much more in depth. There's a lot more going on with respect to the Network People's quotes, and again, the idea is making more sophisticated the system that we have for future expandability, and the question that the issue that I think this Commissioner's Court should determine is whether or not this is a direction that we want to go now, or if we want to go ahead and get the products that are on the Dynamart bid, or alternatively obtain them separately through this other vendor or another vendor that maybe is on the buy board list, which appears to be a substantial decrease in cost. Of course, installation may be an issue, I don't know. The only other potential benefit to this is that the Network People gentleman, I know his first name, what's Carlisle's last name?
Lockhart.
Mr. Lockhart is going to be in town this week as well. So if it's something that Commissioner's Court thinks makes sense to take a closer look at, complete look at, then that's something that we can probably do this week. That would delay, obviously, installation of a replacement unit at the Justice Center. But the end result is it may be a better decision for us looking at a more mid-range or longer viewpoint.
Right now, we have a problem we call Dynamite, right? If we put in the Network People product, who do we call?
The number.
Okay.
You know, we completely broke, it doesn't work. When we were out of compliance?
No. The compliance is only an issue with respect to the hardware vis-a-vis those compliance statutes. The systems work, except I guess in the Justice Center, the DVR is not working, so it's not recording.
Well, if there's no access to it, we had the hard drive went out, so it started beeping and irritating us, so we had to unplug it.
So we don't have any video.
There's no video at all.
You know, I'm totally in agreement with, if we're gonna be going here, why would we spend the money here if we can go ahead and start going here now?
Did you
I have a
mention,
problem with
did you mention Buffalo?
I did. I just threw it out there as a potential resource to find this other equipment.
Okay.
If we wanted to go
Because
to
network
red.
people is, from my understanding, not part of any type of co-op.
Sure.
We haven't received any documentation on that. So, going forward, I know we have spent a lot of money with this vendor, so that would be something that we
Interested in trying to get them on board.
He is registered with Buy Board. He has just not won a bid from Buy Board, which is what gets you open. So he has not won an initial bid with them.
Interesting metric.
But he's also registered with Texas BIR and other entities.
Yeah, if we bought the buy board equipment, y'all would install it and maintain it, is that what I'm hearing?
It's out of my scope, sir.
Okay, who would install and maintain it?
Well, that's the problem, buying it directly.
That's where I'm going, yeah.
that's an issue, right? Like, to have.
Is that the only one?
Yes.
I know we didn't budget for this.
No, this
So
is
that-
over.
We're gonna have to
Find the money somewhere.
find the money someplace.
But we also have to look at maintenance and support, because that's also really how we have to how that.
I don't know. Dynamart, what support do they have, like a help desk number you can
Oh,
call?
yeah.
They come out, it's just a call out charge.
And all of our systems are under down.
Except for ES.
Yes. And on Madam Auditor, technology is moving at such a fast pace, it's hard to keep up with. And having various systems supporting all of our buildings can make it a little bit of a challenge. Having everything under one umbrella can make it a lot more conducive for management, for future upgrades, maintenance, installation, troubleshooting, all those kind of things.
And that's what we looked at when we went to Dynamort, over. I think we talked about it, trying to get everything under one. That way you just had one phone call and they were responsible for it.
And also there's
Just more.
And I will say the big problem I have with that is that they also 2 years ago sold us a whole bunch of out-of-division products, which clearly don't meet the NDAA. So I'm not super happy with that, because I think
And
it
so
was
it just depends on what, who we have involved in picking them and what
I have problems with their service guys for rate. So I guess it's an unfair question to ask you guys. There is a sense of urgency because we do have one system that's totally down. Overall, just so the public knows, we're talking about the difference between $6,000 and $15,000 potential between these two pathways. If we wanted to press forward and see what network people would come up with, we could probably get that done this week. We could also probably mirror that effort and give Dynamark an opportunity to look at it as well, so that they could provide a separate quote. That would delay ordering any material by 2 weeks, delay installation by having to wait until it comes in. So that's kind of the playing field. If I'm missing any other important considerations, please let me know. Or two experts in the matter.
The other quotes you're looking at, are they just going to replace the DVR?
Yeah, so
Or is it going to be wiring?
No. So just from this is the unit that we're gonna buy from, or that we've received a bid for from Dynamar. Here's what it costs on, if you're just buying the piece of equipment. That's all it is. So like we just discussed, it's not a practical solution because we buy the piece of equipment, but who's putting it all together? We kind of need that third piece, which is an entity like Dynamar or the network people.
Good. Calvin, what's your recommendation?
It really depends on the direction that the court wants to follow. I mean, if we want to expand this across the network and the buildings that we're monitoring, the other thing that the network people has done out for the EOC is they also included entry access that can also be expanded as well and become part of the system. So it depends on what the court's direction wants to go. If all we need to do is just replace the NVRs and DVRs, the research that I've done for apples to apples, the same system, I'm finding it $2,400 cheaper for just the hardware. And if you look at Dynamark's quote, they're still quoting an hour for each site to replace the hardware, configure it, and bring it online. So if it's the same exact hardware, I mean, why can't we just purchase the hardware and have them put it in and configure it and save $2,400? But if you're wanting to expand through the whole network for all of our facilities and possibly look at moving forward and phasing in entry access as well, which are these nice little cards that get you into areas, then my recommendation would be going with the network.
And we have them already at the EOC, correct?
We do have them at the EOC.
So we already have some history with them.
We do, and I've had history with them in the past as well, because that's who I purchase all of my security licenses for our software, our desktop and server licenses. We get our firewall and security systems through them. And the reason that I go with them is anytime I have an issue, he's just a phone call away or a text message, and he supports it after the sale. I've never had an additional supplemental or labor charge to go with it. He builds all of this into the product and services that he supports. So that's the other reason that I would go with him is, there's no $125 an hour truck roll. He supports it.
Do we have a hard contract with Dynamar that would prevent us from doing this?
I have no idea. I don't know.
So to do this, ballpark guess, to do this whole thing, go with network people, move forward, what would it cost?
I don't.
That depends on the facilities and how many cameras are in each facility and what exactly that you are wanting and asking for.
Judge, I'd like to,
See, that to me, that's an emergency in the justice building, not being able to monitor them at all.
Yeah, I was saying, why don't we just do the justice building, get it caught up, and,
Bring that, put network people at the justice building.
and then look at the rest of them during budget, see what we can do with that.
how much time do you have? Would a 2-week delay create a big impact?
Well, to me, in my opinion, not having that video access at the justice is an emergency. I agree with Commissioner Fittis, we need to address that today. That's an emergency. Something could happen there tomorrow, the next day, or Wednesday of next week. And we have an opportunity now to say, no, get in there, get it fixed right now, while we're looking at the rest of it. I agree with you, sir.
And the reason it's not working is because of the equipment?
Yes.
It
It needs to be, but make sure the equipment that we get, is gonna move us forward and comply with what we need in the future.
That is correct.
Not
Have you been informed?
set us back.
Right, I agree with you 100% on getting the justice building, but we need.
We can work the rest of, we're already working budget.
Yes.
Y'all are already working budget.
So that's a great idea.
Really is.
The quotes that we've received for the Justice Center DVR from Dynamark is for an 8-channel DVR with 10 terabytes of storage at a cost of $1,459. Again, DVR is the existing that NVR is the newer with IP cameras, which ultimately, anytime we can talk about NVR, IP cameras, for most of the county's video security systems, that's an upgrade. The network people's quote on the Justice Center DVR is a 16-channel DVR with 12 terabytes of storage. It's a little bit cheaper. It's $13.50, and the labor charge is on both is $125 for network people, $135 for Dynamart. It's not a big cost one way or the other.
Would we look at MDR or DVR?
Well, the
Going forward?
problem you're gonna have is the wiring. It's not wired for an NVR.
You have there's an additional part that's needed. So this is my thought process. I don't want to throw money away, but we're talking about less than $2,000. There is a sense of urgency with the Justice Center. The other systems do work. For instance, at the Expo, we've got a very sophisticated system inside the EOC building, and we have the existing system that we have across the county inside the Expo building. The solution that the network people came up with was we can add terabytes of storage. We can expand the existing system in the EOC system and absorb all of the cameras in the overall the Expo into and through the EOC, and you're reducing your hardware by one, right? So instead of two separate systems, you have one complete system, which to me seems elegant. But there could be other issues that come up. I just don't know. And, you know, Mr. Oliver and network people have looked at this, but just in a real general manner. They haven't actually gone out and put their hands on it. For purposes of the Justice Center, it's all analog. It's all the regular cameras, and we don't have a quote on an NVR in front of us for the Justice Center today, so it's not an option. We do for a DVR, yes, sir.
To address the wiring issue, you can still use coax to connect an IP camera. You just have to have a media converter to do it. So the infrastructure is irrelevant. There's ways to get around that. Another thing about the NVR and DVR differences, and DVR is going to be probably maximum 5 megapixel per camera as far as resolution goes, which means it's at the low. They're going to sell it to you. It's 1080p. It's going to be on the low end resolution of it. Where a high end resolution of 1080p is going to be 8 megs. So the NVRs can go up to 12, 20, 24, depending on the camera, because it's IP based and the intelligence is in the camera. So, and of course, it will take up more storage depending on the size of the video and the length of time that you do want to retain it. But that can be the wiring and stuff is not an issue. One of the other solutions, as far as the EOC was, and this doesn't fix anything immediate, sir. Another off the record discussion, there was no quote or discussion, but another solution was to upgrade the EOC to a new system to handle both EOC expansion and Expo, and then move that system to the Justice Center as an NVR solution if you wanted to move forward with NVR. So, and then there wouldn't be any hardware. Well, there's no hardware cost for the NVR system and the storage, but there would be, the media converters to make that happen. So,
how long has the system been out? The Justice Center?
How long has it been out?
A couple weeks. Well, no, about 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Well, when I first tried to get it on the agenda, that's the reason, was because what happened was the DVR that was in there went out. We still have a couple of DVRs in the office from the old jail. We took one of those and replaced it. And the cameras all went back up and it worked fine, but now it went out. I do have one or two old DVRs that we could try to put in there.
But if the bus is less than 2 well, we'll just carve out just when you're in it around the rest of the rest.
It may work, it'd be a Band-Aid though.
Yeah, but for what they're trying to do, a Band-Aid might work.
So you had a couple units could potentially put in there, so that would take care of the immediate needs to get it up and running.
Yes.
But like the path you were going down is to basically get a better understanding of what both of these companies can provide to the county and choose I would prefer going the upper end for the future.
I agree with Mr. Pointer. If he has that system and it's still functional for today, it would be great to get that solution in there and back up and operational so it can be monitored while you guys can take the time to make an educated decision.
Yeah, and the only issue with using the old equipment is it may go out tomorrow and then,
You turn it on, it might work today, and then tomorrow morning.
They're DVRs that came from the old gym.
I don't think it's being,
Your Honor, that's what happened with this last one.
yeah.
We put it in, I had to get Dynamark down here to reset everything because we don't have the passwords for the DVR, so they had to do their magic. And then 2 weeks later, the DVR went out again. No. 2 or 3 weeks, it wasn't long. It went out. So we might buy a month, we might buy 2 days.
Did the system quit completely, or was it just the hard drive that failed?
I believe the hard drive was, an alarm started going off.
And you see, that could be a cheap, quick fix as well. I mean, we could run to Altex and Corpus and be back in 3 hours with a new hard drive if that's all it is.
They're simple to replace.
Yeah, you just have to look at the model and see what their maximum allowed
I've got 2 hard drives in those DVRs in the office,
functional.
as far as I know.
Why don't we do this? This is just a proposal. I'd entertain a motion to approve the Dynamark quote on the B County Justice Center for the Oltec as quoted, subject to, I don't even know if I can do this, subject to no more than 72-hour hold to give our folks an opportunity to see if they can replace the hard drive and get it back up and running. In which case, no purchase of this unit will be necessary. Can we do that?
Sure, purchase it needed.
Just kind of a 2-stage.
It's approved if necessary.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I've got a motion in a second, and then we can hold off on the other 2 for right now because they're still operational.
Yes, they just don't have any storage.
And maybe just get into this a little bit more so that we're not dealing with this the same way we're apparently having to deal with our generators, which is constant maintenance, constant repair, it's a siphon that we're having a very hard time turning on.
So are we going to get into proprietary issues like you use a generator?
Yeah.
If nobody else can work on it, just them?
Well, we should.
Jeff.
I'm sorry.
All of the existing cameras, you bring in a new DVR, they should just plug in.
No, I said, are we going to get into proprietary issues like we do with the generator then? This person can't work on that one can't work on
On the
this.
camera systems, like Andy said, they're just an analog receiver, and you just plug it in and you're ready to go.
April, I will be doing that with flyer and hard drives. I said that we need to also have a motion right now to approve the expenditure not to exceed. Okay, so just a separate motion.
Now, Mr. Farias, the compatibility that you're talking, that's when you're getting into NVR systems, because there are certain protocols that NVR, they're either proprietary or they're standardized. And that would be another thing is, I can't speak for Dynamark, but working with the network people, the systems that they put in do supply standardized operating protocols. So, you know, you can mix and match cameras if needed, depending on what you want, you know, whether it's a PTZ camera or one that has an optical zoom or things like that, depending on the area you're covering. But that would be one of the other things, regardless of who you look at, to make sure when you're moving into the MDR systems and moving forward, is to make sure that they are standard and not proprietary.
I'm sorry, but I thought you said we do have some extra hard drives that we're putting out.
We can try them.
That was the deal. We were gonna approve this if they needed to buy it. They were gonna try what they had, but if that wouldn't work, then they could purchase this.
And I thought, well, if they need to go buy a hard drive, like Mr. Oliver said, we have to have a way for them to spend the money on
The only thing about those older systems is they have a limit of what size hard drive you can put in the system. So that would be the only thing to make sure is not to exceed that limit for operational capacity.
This will get up and running.
Yes.
Table. We'll have to get a budget amendment. The emergency budget amendment.
Emergency is playing right now, so it's like, what is that? In motion to be able to do a transfer.
just to give them as much flexibility as possible. Any further discussion on the pending motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We need to, for this presentation, thank you both, gentlemen. Excellent job. Deputy Salts, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Clean up for
Deputy Cleaner?
no.
We're just getting started.
Okay.
No. I think we need a second motion to declare this as an emergency situation. April, or just authorize. I just want to make sure.
To approve that it's an emergency.
Second. I've got a motion and second. Further discussion. Does that cover if we need to go ahead and utilize funds with, to purchase, drive to Corpus and purchase a hard drive if that's necessary? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Deputy Pointer, Mr. Oliver, thank you all for volunteering to spearhead this process for the county. I really appreciate it. I know it's definitely, this is kind of a weird thing, and it's one of the benefits of being in a county like Lee County with the employees that we do have, is that both of this component is outside the sphere really of both of these individuals' primary bailiwick, but they're both willing to do the work and assist us in making sure that we're taking the steps with the information that we have right now are the best steps for the county. So thank you.
Going forward, we could look at the other.
Yeah, I think I
I think so, absolutely.
I think I want to just to kind of see
Get the best.
Judge, even if we did this area now, this one next, this one next. we
I
phase
think that's probably how we're going to ultimately have to do it, probably starting in 2026. Well, there's nothing further. We'll move on. Thank you. Y'all are excused. Appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Keep dropping that.
Yeah, something like that.
Fix that.
Kicking the game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for that. I know that was a little bit of a long agenda item, but I thought it merited some discussion. And it is very confusing. It's just so technical. Okay. Agenda item number 11. This is a very, very concise agenda. Approve and consider action on the courthouse boiler. Commissioner
All right,
Farias.
in front of you is a quote from Protect, and they have been out here. John, how many times did they come out here? At least 3 different times to go from the basement all the way to the top to try to get this fixed. And here's the quote in front of you. Inside, you have identified some funds to get this paid for.
Okay.
Yeah, I have about 65 right now, and I believe.
Am I right?
No.
No, all I want.
You don't have a lighting budget,
There's
Commissioner.
nothing there.
Right.
Judge, Commissioner,
Judge.
what I'm gonna say, hey, we keep letting down the road.
No. This is an important thing.
We're gonna get into a bigger jam than we did this past winter. And we don't have hard winter, but we did get some problems.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right.
This doesn't, all the way from the water coming in. I'll make a motion that we approve the quote that bid is in front of you, gentlemen.
I will second that.
$84,298.16.
And it does have the five-board contract.
Yes, they are a member of the Bible, and it's up there on top.
And is this for, I guess, the equipment that includes the regular, to see if their contract covers this? If that's what we mentioned, that because the contracts
Okay. I'll get back with Joseph and
You're talking about a phone system. Or just one phone. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Thank you, Commissioner, for the doggedness, and thank you, Ms. Cantu, for finding the funds. So this is important.
Thank you, District Judges.
Yeah, thank you, District Judges, for your participation and helping us get the funding gap closed.
And also, there's about 24,000 in the ARC interest line, which I thought this would be a good project to use the interest that's left in that line.
Boy, it was just a rubber running and kind of put it behind us. I think it was okay. So that made a lot of problems.
Yeah, I like your optimism. I really do. I appreciate it. I think it's very important.
I think it is.
But
it's a worthy cause here.
Yeah, it's a goal.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 12, presentation of B County Healthy South Texas Recognized School, given by Randy Schauer and Kim Davis. Good morning, ladies. How are y'all?
I have a paper for you with Healthy South Texas program.
I probably should have moved y'all up on the agenda list. I'm sure you enjoyed our IT tech discussion.
I'd like to introduce myself. I am Kim Davis, and I work for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. And I am an extension agent that covers Healthy South Texas programming in schools within Goliad, Bee, and Refugio County. And I'm here with my colleague Randy Schauer, and she, along with everything else on her plate, does the Healthy South Texas adult programming here in Bee County. And I'm just here to recognize Hampton Reno Dugat Early Childhood Center for earning the Healthy South Texas Recognized School distinction for the 2024-2025 school year. To earn this distinction, a school must have a minimum of 2 classrooms in a youth program, an adult education program for parent staff, and a school-wide walk across Texas for parents, staff, and students. At HMD, all kindergarten students participated in Learn, Grow, Eat, and Go Early Childhood, where they learned about plants and gardens, participated in healthy food and vegetable tastings, and had the opportunity to prepare and taste a healthy recipe each week. All students at HMD participated in Walk Across Texas and logged a total of 11,460.75 miles. The adult programs included Cooking While with Friends, a hands-on program that teaches how to plan, prepare, freeze, and cook healthy meals safely and effectively. Staff, parents, and community members also participated in Walk Across Texas. Other schools within Bee County that utilized Healthy South Texas programming was Skidmore Elementary, and all of their kindergarten, first, and second grade students participated in Learn, Grow, Eat, and Go Early Childhood, and the ACE students at Pettis Elementary in 3rd through 5th grade also participated in Learn, Grow, Eat, and Go. And I just wanted to congratulate HMD and let you know the programming efforts within the
Thank you so much.
Do you have any questions about what we do in the schools?
This is great.
Thank you.
Hopefully the program continues to grow. We're so fortunate to have Ms. Schauer here. She's done a great job. Were we discussing the competition, speaking of healthiness and whatnot? Are we doing that this year? Or we are? Yeah, let's get on it. I know I can lose a couple pounds. It doesn't require anything.
HMD is our first school in Beeville to receive this recognition, which is a pretty big deal. So, and Kim, I just want to say, Kim has done a great job. She was a school teacher in Goliath for 29 years. So working with kids has kind of been second nature to her. So when she joined Extension, she really hit the ground running, and she's been great. She's been a great addition. And the kids love her, the teachers love her. So it's been really fun, and we have a lot of schools that are seeing this traction, and they really want to hop on board for this upcoming school year. So after this, we're going to go have a meeting with St. Mary's actually and see if we can get them on board, and then hopefully it grows and grows and grows. So
Do the other BISD schools already participate in the program?
No, sir. HMD was the first school.
Okay. Hopefully the program continues to grow exponentially as student.
You know, the thing that I see, that I really, really appreciate, is y'all are getting down to the lower levels, the lower grade. What I've seen in the past, you guys do this all the time, you've seen this. You get these young kiddos tuned in, and they tell their mamas and daddies. Because it's like the litter program that we had several years ago. When little kids, don't throw that out, you can't litter. It works. Get them tuned in when they're real small, and it goes all the way up the line. So I applaud you guys for what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I do want to second that. My daughter goes to HMD and she's actually tender. And there were several times she came home in the afternoon and she was telling me all the fun that she had throughout the day learning about these new things. So it's really interesting to see her little mind, those little wheels turning of what to be mindful of that at an early age. So I appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad they're going home and talking
Yes.
about it. That's our
Seriously
ultimate
does.
goal.
Excellent. It's working.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Thank you, Ms. Shower. There's no motion that needs to be had on this regard. Is Wally, are you out there?
Right there in front.
Oh.
There's catch on me.
Has it been that long already? Okay, I'm going to go back up to agenda item number 8, approve expo request for auditorium fee waiver from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Garza East Unit for their employee Christmas benefit party event on December 12, 2025. Mr. Rodriguez.
Good morning, Commissioners. Wally Rodriguez, Promotional Director of the County Expo Center. Today we have on the agenda item, we have consideration for TDCJ. We've built a great relationship with these guys. I always recommend that we move forward with them. They're kind of like, anytime I need anything from them, they've always been there. Granted, I haven't had to use them recently, but those guys are great about, provided that they're able to come out, but anytime I need something, they'll bring inmates out to do whatever it is that we need. They also bring their inmates out to help prepare and break down the event, which releases any of the resources that we have to use as far as our own team having to prepare. So it's kind of minimal there. So my recommendation is that we would consider waiting for that.
I've got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Thank you.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, Wally. Agenda item number 13, approved contract between Easy Vote and B County for the elections office tabled during the June 9, 2025 regular term meeting. Ms. Warnings.
Good morning, Laura Warren, Elections Administration. I did, as the court asked, I went back and spoke with several of the counties that already have, or 4 of the counties that already have this program. I gave you their comments as an attachment to what we had in there. I do understand that there's a little error in the contract, but maybe I could get the court to approve it based on that contract being corrected as far as the examination of what the county is. If you have any questions on some of the comments or any other questions on the program, I'll be glad to answer those.
I think you told me the other day that you found out that the candidate can go either way, right?
Yes, that is
Electronic
correct.
or
They can
manual.
bring them in still, and it's much easier upload for us, and it automatically redacts them.
How long does it take? Okay, Mr. X comes in with his paperwork. How much time does it take y'all to do everything you need to do to get that
Depends on the candidate.
average?
30 to 45 minutes, depending on the candidate and which report he's filing or she's filing. The situation is, which they don't understand, is we are not responsible for what goes on those reports. That is the candidate's job to make sure their reports are correct. We have nothing to do with that. We can't. I know my staff in the past has said, oh, you need to correct this, or you have the wrong part. That is not our job. And we can be held, if we do it for one candidate and another candidate hears about it, we need to do it for them, then we're in trouble. We are strictly a filing authority for those reports. This program, that's what one of the things I like so much about the program. Once you put your initial information in and you report on your main form, it automatically gives you all the other forms that you need to complete. And that way you know what needs to be completed, and it's kind of helping the candidates guide them through the step-by-step process.
And what's the cost again?
The initial cost, the annual cost is $2,875. The initial implementation is $1,000. That includes getting the program delivered to us and all of our trainings and support for the future.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve pending the review and approval of the county attorney, and I have some comments.
Okay. I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second, with some question.
I have a motion and a second, further discussion, Commissioner Olivares.
One thing I heard at the last meeting, by going this route, it provides electronic means for individuals to go and file online.
That's great.
Which eliminates a lot of paper, which I'm good for. So I do like that. And then, thanks for the clarity there, each candidate that's filing, that'll put the onus on him to file the right paperwork. So,
the other advantage to it, it immediately date stamps and time stamps those for you, so that if all of a sudden it's 11:30 and you realize you were supposed to file today, you go online and you're still getting the documents. So that's great. You have it maintains all the copies, so if you lost your copy, it's always accessible to come back for you. It automatically does the redactions that we need on the addresses and so forth, on the contributions pages and so forth. I can set it up to it automatically sends out reminders. We have a report coming due. There's lots of little entities in there that will help the candidates, and that's our goal, is to help this make it easier for the candidates and to save us time in our office.
Can ask the question, I'm sure that's going to save some time.
I've tasked this job of taking the reports onto Andrea, because so many times I'm not available when reports are due. And she is very detail oriented, and she'll look at a form, and if they've got it on the wrong date, she wants it corrected, and she wants this done. And this system's going to automatically do that for you when you do that. It's going to, from my understanding, is it also, when you pick a certain report and this is your report date, my understanding is it fills in the dates of when it was from to. You can set up parameters for that and so forth. So there's so many things that's going to help, like I said, help the candidates.
So how long, okay, let's say it takes 30 minutes for y'all to do this. How long is it going to take you to teach me how to do it?
Depends on the
hour,
learning
2 hours, 4 hours? Because some of us are not computer extremely literate like others are.
I understand.
And a lot of your candidates are older.
Yes. And like I said, you're welcome to do that. The main thing about this is yes, the training is available, and it is a very easy to use system. As you can tell, all these counties that I've talked to, they say their candidates love it. Yeah, they have a lot of Grimes County. Devontae Cole told me that he has a couple that still file paper, but it's so much easier for them to just upload that when they bring their paper files in compared to what we have to do now.
That's a great question, but it's not only trying to put my words here, not only seniors, that could have a challenge, but they also there's a lot of younger generation that may not be computer savvy. Well, that's a slippery slope of not there.
It's all you, Commissioner Olivares. I guess where's the money coming from?
Fund 15 has some extra transfer monies that I had put in because money wasn't spent, so for this amount.
The trepidation I have, we have 3 staff members over there. And I know there's times when they're extremely, extremely busy, and there's other times that, any job, you're not busy all the time. we've gotten by without this for all these years, so have all the 254 counties in Texas except for how many, 7?
These were just before I talked to you. There's plenty more counties to use it,
But we don't know how many.
I do not know.
I don't know, I just, even though I made a motion to do this, of course, it's pending the county attorney's approval, and I want to read why out of this contract, I want his approval on this, but I'll get to that when we get to that point.
So should we wait till we get a little bit more history as far as?
In my opinion, yes.
Are you looking to withdraw your motion?
Yes, but can I go ahead and read this in the record before I withdraw my motion? This is the reason why I hate it.
Sure.
Okay, the reason I have this trepidation in the contract, item 7.3, controlling law. This agreement will be governed and approved in accordance with the laws of the state of Delaware, applicable to contracts made and to be performed wholly in such state. Any dispute between the parties that cannot be resolved through mutual agreement may be litigated in any court of conference between each party. Submits to non-exclusive personal jurisdiction of the state of Delaware, the state of Delaware, the state of Delaware. And then I'm going to get into history lesson on B County and the state of Delaware. If I may get.
Yeah, no, now I'm interested.
Me too.
Okay.
Really set this up well.
When B County decided to renovate the courthouse, they had to find a temporary place to move their courthouse. Okay, the location they picked is catty corner from the post office, used to be the old HEB over there. Okay, when they decided they were looking at that, I was in community affairs as the director. I got a phone call. Said, we're looking at buying that property. Would you give us a letter that says that the original trash dump for the city of Beeville was under that building? Because we want the price lower. This was not the county. This was a private individual. I said, I can't do that because I don't have that information. To make a long story short, they wound up buying that property for $50,000. Okay. Then B County said, we need a place to put our temporary courthouse. Here's one right here. Well, a consortium was put together. At least one attorney, one or more political officials in B County, a religious group, and a private individual. They formed a company under the state of Delaware law. Okay, where I'm going with this. When they started doing the renovations, there was asbestos and building materials that were transferred out of that building. I'm in community affairs as their environmental person. I stopped a dump truck full of asbestos and building material that was dumping that in the creek off 888, off a private subdivision, into the creek. Okay, that's way more than a regular felony. I've got game boards involved, I've got TCQ involved. And where I'm going with this, what we found out, we could never determine who owned that building. Because according to the law at that time, and it may still be the same, whoever had the briefcase with the documents on the building owned the building. Okay, I could have it, I'll hand it to you. Now you own the building, and he owns it the same. Now he owns the building. We could never file the case.
You own it, I don't want it.
I would express it, no way.
And I am real nervous about anything that says we're going to do something with the laws of Delaware. So
And I don't know if that was a contract that was last used.
it
or
doesn't
if-
matter. That's the ones in front of me now.
Well, that's why I said have that contract restated to where it's under Texas, if that's what
And the termination clause is squirrely in this thing. It really is. And I'm not an attorney. Don't get me wrong. I may have misread all this stuff, but I just read y'all what I read out of here. And that's why I have the trepidation as to what happened with that. And then the rest of the story, B County was offered that building for $350,000. After they bought it for $50,000, they said, "Oh, we don't want to buy it." Then B County wound up leasing it for $325,000 a year, paid up front. So you just put all that in your back pocket and let it go. That's the history lesson on that. So anything to do with Delaware law, without, be careful. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. So I do have a pending motion and a second.
I want to withdraw my motion.
Okay. Is there any other motions that anybody wants to make at this point in time? All right, no motions. Matter passes. Thank you, Ms. Lawrence, for bringing this to our attention and give us the opportunity to review it.
Judge, I'll probably just withdraw it. I'm not going to continue this because there's going to, I mean, if that's, you know.
Yes, ma'am. No, I understand. Okay, moving on, agenda item number 14, approve submission of application to the Secretary of State, SOS, for additional Help America Vote Act HAVA funds available for grant funding up to $42,500 with a 20% match for the elections office. Ms. Warnix.
Judge and Commissioners, we have the opportunity to apply for additional 42,000, I think it's 42 even or 42.5 in additional HAVA funds. When they proceeded where we bought the other equipment under HAVA, some of the counties didn't take advantage of the funds being available, so they had extra funds to disperse. And based on our county size, that we are eligible up to that 42,500 with that 20% match. I submitted documentation to y'all as an attachment in your when I submitted the item that shows how we've actually already spent money that we can go back and file to reclaim some of that money. And then the additional item that I would like to purchase is the further replacing the batteries to come up to that amount. Do you see that? I didn't bring a copy.
Yeah, no, I see it.
So we would be recovering, I kind of tried to make it, this is how much we would be recovering if we apply for the grant. We can backdate up to January 1st of 2024 for anything we purchase that meets these guidelines. And that's what I'm showing you there.
So, 2 buckets, the first part, funds that are already expended,
yes,
we could potentially recover out of that $36,000 and some change, $24,000, and then you want new equipment to purchase at an additional cost of $10,500. Where we have an outlay of $2,100,
which goes include guards pay also. The additional equipment is the other 75 batteries that I need to completely replace all of our stock. We've already purchased 20. We did that recently, and now I want to go ahead, since we have these funds available, go ahead and purchase the other 75 because those batteries are $140 a piece.
So what's our total outlay? If we approve this and the grant is awarded and we buy the 75 equipment batteries, do we actually have to cut a check to anybody, or?
We would have to pay our 20% on that.
On the 75 voting batteries?
Yes. Which, to get 75 batteries.
Would they be cutting us a check for the difference between the items to be purchased and the recoupment amount?
Yes. Those funds would be given to us.
Where does this match of $8,162.95? Do we have to pay for that?
That's the total between the already purchased, so it's the stuff we've already spent.
The $6,062, we've already spent $30,314.75. That's what we purchased, okay? Our 20% match taken out of that would get us a check for the $24,251.80. Okay, forget the funds. That's not a check; it's a deposit.
So we don't actually pay any money.
Not out of that section. The next section, the $10,500 in batteries I want to purchase, we would be out that $2,100 for our 20% match. So our recoupment match, we would get $8,400.
So we basically, when it's all said and done, if I'm reading this correctly, we'd end up ahead by about $22,000.
No, I look at 32. Because we'll be getting
recoup amount. That's what I'm seeing.
Out of this 42.5 that is available to us, they're going to end up paying us $24,251.80 back because we've already expended these funds.
That we've already purchased.
Right. And then we do have to do our 20% match, but our 20% match is $2,100. So when we wash it all through, the net result, if we approve this, would be, and it all works, would be we'd end up with $22,000 extra than we had before.
And it'd go back into Fund 15, which is all general fund funded. It's the general funded fund.
So why should
For
we do
elected
this?
Well, and Judge, I think you're missing,
Everything we see is right.
I think you're missing the $8,400 too, because we buy the batteries, we're gonna get that $8,400 too.
Because your batteries are in your budget that you submitted.
I think
That's
that's some. I did,
batteries.
no, I was gonna space them
75,
out
but-
over 3 years. I was
Oh,
gonna
that's
space them
right.
out so many per year. We've already purchased 20, now we wanted to buy 20 the next year and stuff.
looking for.
No,
There's
that's,
gotta be a hook somewhere.
no, that's why I'm here, to say we have this opportunity to recoup that money, and I can say, yes,
And
we're
you
gonna
can
do
get
it.
it all, you can get all 75 instead of phasing it out.
Correct, that's correct. And that was my goal, is so we wouldn't be in the future having the budget purchase additional
I think the
batteries.
operative word here is most move to approve.
We've got a motion, do I have a second? Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Ms. Warnex, and thank you to you and your staff.
There will be a resolution that has to be signed,
Okay.
and so forth. I'll get that together and get it to the court to do that. So,
To include approving.
Today or when?
no, probably next quarter.
Next court, can bring it back before the court? Okay. All right. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. That was a nice little surprise. I didn't think they were going to talk about just getting free money.
DVR talk.
I've got about 6 more hours up in regalia on one by one. Hey, you're going to love it. It's full of acronyms. Agenda item number 15, approve Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Benefits Pool Plan for year 2026, medical renewal for B County. Hi, man. Is this all you?
It can be.
It is.
Is this all mostly, this is housekeeping, right?
Basically,
It is, but it's worthy about talking about.
Well, let's get
Yes,
talking.
for sure it is worthy.
I move to approve.
Second. I've got a motion in multiple seconds. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
I know this wasn't easy, and I know that the prices continue to go up, but the thing that I see, we continue to pay the employee and family stuff entire premium. And that's what I was looking for, and I appreciate y'all finding a plan that will do that. I realize that the deductions have gone up just a little bit, but we're still there and we're helping the employees, and that's a good thing.
So this is, it's $100,000 increase, not a $200,000 increase in the state status quo. That's what we look at every year, the least amount of it to the employee and the family.
Little increases on a few out-of-pocket costs.
That's it.
Is the recommendation, we kind of jumped way ahead of you. I mean, we approved everything. Is the recommendation alternative medical plan too?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that was your motion.
That was my motion.
I just wanted to
Yes,
make sure I heard it.
I forgot to enunciate that loud.
And that was your understanding when you seconded it, right?
Yes, sir. And like Commissioner was saying, I mean, this is great for the individuals who are too. Unfortunately, the cost of everything, the cost of is going up. But it's going to be good for the individuals that are on this plan because we're part of a much larger group, about 49,000 members of the plan. We're able to get fairly significant discounts on different medications at different pharmacies. So being part of that network will definitely improve the cost.
Yeah.
If y'all would, I'm gonna read into the record what the county is paying for the employee benefit. Employee only, $884.72, and that's monthly. Employee and spouse, $1,852.90.
And that's with, of course, on the next three that you're gonna read, those are supplemented by the employee. Those are different rates.
Like
Not the full amount, but.
But we're paying that amount.
The county is paying, but also the employee.
We pull out of
I understand, but this is what the county is contributing to that employee and spouse. Employee and children, $1,353.64, and like I said, the employee has to come up with some. Then the employee and family, $2,321.82 a month. I'll say again, I am so proud of B County to be able to offer these insurance benefits for the employees. It's a good thing. It's something very, 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 very good, and we're proud of it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Iman, for all your excellent work all the time. Moving on to agenda item number 16, approve annual renewal of alcohol and drug testing service contract between B County and Pinnacle for the road and bridge departments.
Move to approve. This is pretty much housekeeping.
Yes, sir.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 17, approve renewal of depository contract letter between Simmons Bank and B County.
Yeah, so you'll see a lengthy, not a lengthy letter, but a lengthy attachment to our contract, the bid that was approved in court months ago. What took an extra meeting to get was all of those attachments. So in 2022, those agreements were finally tuned, and we wanted to make sure that they were attached to the letter so that everything works cohesively with our investment policy and our repository and our other contracts that we deal with in respect to this.
And I'd like to thank both you and Joe Carter. I know I spoke with Mr. Carter, and I know that he was taking a very close look at this and looking out for our district. So thank you for bringing this back so that we can make sure we're getting funded.
And Simmons is one of them. Simmons has been great to work with, and we're very
Thank you to Simmons as well.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 18. Hurricane Harvey, Texas General Land Office, GLO Community Development Block Grant, CDBG status and project update. Do we have any updates?
We do. Didn't we get a letter from this, from Hanson, our
Yes.
engineer?
We have a draft contract right now with the engineer to get approved by Mr. Knight and see if there's anything in there, but we're moving right along with the paperwork portion of it so that way we can get started on these projects sooner rather than later.
And also started reviewing the contract, a lot of it pretty much went to the jumps out.
Good, thank you.
So we're passing environmentals, like I'm assuming, pretty much.
That will be next. I have to speak with Sarah to make sure where we are on the process with grant works, but we're right on track where we need to be.
Yeah, we're moving fast on this one now. So it's Edison, Canyon, and
Awesome.
631, Silver Creek.
That's great, man. That's really good. You know, we really cleaned out, cleared out here. I'd like to thank our guests who stayed for the end of Commissioner Sport. Yeah.
We had lunch coming in.
There's some of us who have no option and have to be here. Those of us that don't. Thank you all for being here. We have no executive session items. Move on to agenda item number 19, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes without exception. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.